Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comic Class. In today's lesson, guys, will be looking over the Judge Death storyline from the Judge Dredd comics. And yeah, I've been wanting to cover this storyline for a while now on the channel. We're going to be covering all the different Judge Death storylines that involve him and the four Dark Judges. And yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. We're going to cover the first three storylines in three different videos. And then we're going to be doing the Necropolis story arc as well, which I believe is probably the biggest and longest story arc that they were a part of, Judge Death and the Four Dark Judges. So yeah, with that being said, guys, without further ado, let's jump right into today's story. Let's go. So this story basically starts off with us being introduced to the character of Judge Death, and Judge Death is basically attacking this dude that thought he got away from the judges. And when he sees a dude in a judge outfit, he thinks that this is just one regular judge, but this turns out to be Judge Death, and he phases his hand through the guy's body and basically kills him and sings, "My name is Death, I have come to judge you," and he basically kills the man in cold blood. Now, the judges eventually catch up to this guy that was running away from them, and they basically say that he died with a face of terror on his face. And they basically get some skin samples from underneath his fingernails that I guess Judge Death had left behind, and they basically take it to the scientists and the detectives in their division to basically try to figure out what exactly killed this man. Now, while that's going on, we get to see that Judge Death basically goes to a party club, and when he goes to this party club, he basically kills the DJ. And after he kills the DJ, he basically tries going after all the people that are in the club and basically just murders a ton of people. Eventually, the judges hear that something is happening at this club, and they basically show up, and this is where they're able to be introduced to Judge Death for the first time. Now, Judge Death basically phases through one of the judges after he tries to shoot him with his gun and tries to intimidate him, and he basically, I guess, kills this judge, and the rest of the judges basically light him up with bullets. And he basically says that you can't kill what's not alive, and basically is ready to fight against them. Now, Judge Death basically is going to go on the attack to attack the judges whenever they have the idea to use fire, like a flamethrower type device, and they set Judge Death basically on fire. This burns his body basically so badly that it basically kills him, it seems, at least his body, so, in a sense, and he basically escapes this fate by taking his soul and escaping from out of this charred body, and basically says that he will come back and that he will be the one to judge all of them. So it's a pretty cool scene, and Judge Death basically gets away. Now we get introduced to a character called Judge Anderson, which is a psychic user, and she basically tries to touch the body, the charred body of Judge Death, and tries to communicate with him. And this is where we get a scene with Judge Death basically explaining what exactly he is, and he explains that he comes from a different dimension where all the crimes in his dimension basically were being committed by the living. So he and his three other followers, his friends and comrades basically in crime, basically decided that they're going to kill all people that are alive, basically, just take everyone out in their dimension, and they actually achieved this goal, as we'll see later on in the other storylines, when we get to see and go to their home dimension. But yeah, so basically we get to see that Judge Death basically tells Judge Dredd that he's going to carry out the sentence, and that the sentence will be carried out, and that the sentence is death. Now, Judge Anderson basically breaks the connection with Judge Death and basically goes back home. When she's at home, she basically gets possessed by Judge Death, and he wants to use her in order to grab his body from the place where the judges are located and basically take his body somewhere to be revived and recreated, basically. So we get this really cool panel with Judge Anderson basically being freaked out that her body is basically being controlled by Judge Death, and she grabs his body, his corpse, basically, and takes it to this place to where it can get revived with these type of like liquids, and that it's pretty crazy, the technology that Judge Dredd's universe has, and that apparently Judge Death's body was going to get revived and recreated after being a complete skeleton, but Judge Dredd basically shows up and destroys the skeleton body with a blast from his gun, and Judge Death basically goes into his spirit form again and goes inside Judge Anderson again because he was already escaping and was going about to go back into his original body if it was a success. But now that the body has been destroyed completely, the skeleton's been destroyed completely, he goes back to Judge Anderson, and this is where Judge Anderson lands a hit on Judge Dredd, just punches him across the face. And she basically tells Judge Dredd, because she had the idea, and I think she had somehow found a way to communicate with him, tell him to bring this type of substance that they have, this type of like technology called, I think it's like Boeing or something, and it's very funny sounding device, a type of substance, but it basically puts you into like a type of like cryo sleep. So Judge Anderson tells Dredd to basically do it, and he blasts her with the Boeing and basically puts her into like a cryo sleep type state. And this is where we get to see that Judge Anderson basically knew what exactly was going to be needed to be done and was willing to make that sacrifice on her own life in order to keep Judge Death from killing as many people as he would have if he were to continue to roam free on Judge Dredd City. And they basically put her and they encase her body in this cryo sleep type state in cryo ice, basically substance, in like a coffin, a glass coffin type memorial thing for where people could come and see her and stuff. It's kind of weird, but that's what they did. They basically put her, I think, where the judges actually patrol in that, like like their headquarters. I believe that's where she's at, in a place called the Hall of Heroes. And yeah, it's pretty cool that they did this and they put her in their Justice Department building. And as we'll see in the next video regarding the Judge Death stories, it's storylines that Judge Anderson does have a lot of people that come and see her as like a museum type tour, type of like sightseeing type thing that we get to see in the next video regarding the Judge Death storylines, which will cover the storyline Judge Death Lives. And yeah, that was the first storyline for Judge Death, which is just simply titled Judge Death. And overall, I really like this character. Judge Dredd, I haven't jumped completely into it. I read like the first couple of first issues, and I was really interested in Judge Death's character, so I went and I checked out his story. I think it was about last year, sometime last year, and I read the first 3 storylines with this character and his 3 friends. Being the Dark Judges. Together they made themselves the 4 Dark Judges, and we'll be introduced to them in the next video. But when it comes to the story overall, it's really good. I really like the characterization that they do for Judge Anderson as well as Judge Death, because both these characters were introduced in the storyline, if I'm correct. And Judge Dredd is a very cool main character as well. He's kind of like similar to a lot of like video game type characters that doesn't really talk a lot, but has a lot of good action. It has more action than words, that type of hero. So it's really cool to see that, because you don't usually see that in a lot of comic books, especially hero type comics. So Judge Dredd isn't like a complete hero type comic, but it has similar aspects to that type of genre, and it's just overall a fun read. So I do recommend you go check it out. I will have a link in the description down below to go check it out on Comixology/Amazon. Now that the merger has happened, you'll have to check it out on Amazon because Comixology did a merger, I believe last week. So the link will send you to where you can purchase this legally and check it out. I definitely recommend it. And like I said, if you're new to the channel, we are going to be covering the other storylines. Like I said, we have Judge Death Lives, which should be the next video. And then we're going to be covering, I think it's called Revenge. And then after that, I believe we'll be covering Necropolis. So I definitely need to get on that. I need to read that story arc. That way I can cover it after I cover the next 2 storylines for the Judge Death stuff. And once we complete the 4 videos for the Judge Death storylines, I might check out the other material of Judge Death and the 4 judges, basically, and see, because I believe there's some stuff that is like extra material that isn't like main storyline type stuff. So we might cover it as well on the channel if these videos do well and people really enjoy the Judge Death / the Dark Judges, basically the 4 Dark Judges videos. And yeah, it's going to be fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, as we're doing trade paperback / volume reviews. And we also do like these little single stories as well, or little mini runs, as you can say, of stories, like we're doing with Judge Dredd today, and for the next few videos. But until next video, guys, God bless you. Until next lesson, keep on reading those comments.